right, so now it's time to get in the Tesla for myself. With Emmanuel, we're gonna go for a quick spin. I've never been in a Tesla before, so this is a first for me.
Lately, I really wanted one of these. No expensive trips to the gas pump, no engine noise, and no carbon emissions crippling the climate. But I've always thought they were just too expensive, and I passed up buying one myself last year, largely due to the price.
Saying that I can't afford an EV because I can't afford a Tesla is kind of like saying, well, I can't afford an iPhone 13 because it's $1,200, so I can't afford a smartphone. Well, you can actually get a budget phone for $200 or $300 and it's going to be just as good. You can ignore your Tinder matches just as fine on this one.
To say Alex Guberman is an EV enthusiast would be an understatement. His YouTube channel, E for Electric, offers up daily news and his own analysis on what's going on in that industry. I wanted to know if that price gap is changing at all.
It's definitely smaller now, but there is a gap.
So what is the current gap? Well, according to Kelley Blue Book, the average price for an EV in the US is up over 13% compared to last year. And the average price for a new electric vehicle in the US just hit $66,000. But this doesn't include those federal and state incentives being offered after purchase, or tell the whole story. The average cost for every type of car is up. A new midsize car could run you about $32,000. A midsize SUV, $47,000. But there are several popular EVs out there right now for around $50,000. And several others coming out soon for under $30,000.
People have been shopping for cars all their lives and they never kind of thought that things can change. Well, things are changing. About 5 years ago, your choices was pretty much a Tesla or a couple of other choices just looked awful, right? Things are very different now. Almost every brand now, every car manufacturer has at least one electric car on the market already or by the end of this year.
Now, back to that question about pricing. Increased competition is indeed driving down the cost of EVs. But on paper, yeah, they're still generally more expensive than gas-powered cars. Or are they? First, you got to consider the cost of gas. It's ridiculous right now. And while your electric bill may go up, it's not likely to cost you as much as the gas. Plus, some utility companies offer plans where power is cheaper after a certain hour. That could offset the additional costs, and some EV purchases come with a free charging membership. Then there's the tax rebates. For many EVs, the feds offer up a $7,500 tax credit. It varies from car to car and year to year, so you'll want to check. But there's a new push to simply have the credit knocked off the sticker price when you buy. Some states even offer their own additional discounts and rebates. You may be able to pocket between $2,000 and $4,500 if you live in America's EV capital, California. Over there, they'll even let you drive in the carpool lane all by yourself if you have an EV. Here are some other tips from Alex for speeding up your electric learning curve.
First of all, figure out how you're going to charge your electric vehicle. Be aware of how far your car can go realistically. Do you live in a cold climate? Because that makes the batteries perform worse, so your range actually decreases. Everything else, I would say, would be a perk because there's so many things that these electric cars can do that gas cars can't. They can literally power your house. So look at what you're buying. You will actually find that the benefits that you're getting from the electric cars are actually so much greater than a little drawbacks that you're going to have to deal with, and only probably for a couple more years.
Here's one more EV benefit. You're helping save the planet from climate change. EVs are poised to become one of the best tools for reducing carbon emissions. But EV ownership in the US is only hovering around 1% of the total vehicles on the road. Still, there's signs we might be moving in the right direction. Almost 40% of every new car buyer is now considering an EV. And the recently passed infrastructure bill in Washington carved out $5 billion for states to establish a nationwide EV charging network by 2026. Electric advocates like Alex also point out it's our nation's politics that keep the EV revolution stuck in first gear.
Don't forget, America is out of the three biggest markets, we're talking about China, Europe, and North America. We're the least friendliest. For example, in China, if you're an auto manufacturer, you're required to make a certain number of fully electric vehicles to even stay in business. Also, there are tons of incentives in China for people to buy electric vehicles. Same thing in Europe, especially countries like Norway. Here, just like everything else, it's a political issue, right? Whether it's the unions thing, whether it's the green energy thing, but everything's politicized. So there's always, half of the country hates it, half of the country loves it, and we can never get anything done. It's not a political issue in other countries, and they are much more friendly.
I'm still not sure I could have pulled the trigger on an EV last year, but with all the new options coming out, a little luck from Washington, and some basic math, the chances of me plugging in my next car purchase seem to be getting better by the kilowatt.